Call to order. Commissioners present. Call to order. Commissioners present, John Dyken, Melissa Yarnaga, and Dave Rowan. Excused, Alex Giannone and Ryan Zeller. Audience of citizens. We have an audience of citizens. Gentlemen,
Oh, I put a sign on the other door too, so if anybody came in, they'd know to come here.
I saw that.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay, so apparently we don't have an audience of citizens. We need to do the approval of September 17th minutes.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion to table that item.
Need a second?
The reason why is because Commissioner Zelik, he objects to part of the minutes and we want to give an opportunity to do it. So at least that's my view.
So reading in his correspondence that he left for us, I just want to make sure I'm clear in understanding. So instead of reading in the correspondence he had sent to all of us,
We'll
you're
just let
saying
it do.
table it?
We'll table it so he can come in and he can level, these concerns himself and then he can try to correct it or do whatever he wants. I just figure let's just give him, let's let him do this when he's here. That's my view, but it's not, everyone's.
Okay, but I would still like to read his letter just in and then he can, I'll second the motion, table it with the caveat that I'd still like to read his letter in, so it's on the record. And then we can discuss further next meeting.
Sure.
So,
Oh, yeah.
so for Ryan's corrections to the minutes were, in summary, he did not give a verbal recusal, so he would like those points to be struck from the minutes, according to ethics, FOI, and conducting public meetings, Martha Kaluna in January 2022. So he can discuss further in our November meeting.
Right.
We good? Good. Moving on.
Oh,
Well, you gotta take
No,
a
you
vote.
didn't vote.
We'll take a vote. Okay,
aye.
Aye.
let's take this off.
All right.
Moving on to the correspondence. Well, I have some correspondence that was sent directly to me, and I'd like to read it to everybody so that it's in the record. This came from Gary Ballinger, who is the president of the MRPC. We have that's Rifle Pistol Club. And it goes, these are the main topics that I wish to discuss with the town. One, lead abatement. This by far is one of the biggest issues and concerns that I have. I am familiar with the current terms of the lease agreement between the town and the MRPC, where we are responsible for all maintenance of the facility. However, at the time of the signing of the lease agreement, the sole users of the facility were primarily Berlin PD, Cromwell PD, Rocky Hill PD, Weathersfield PD, and of course the MRPC. For police agencies and the members of the MRPC. Also during the time period, the volume of shooting was significantly less than the demand is today. With those levels of shooting, it was generally estimated lead abatement could be roughly 7-year span between cleanings. Now with approximately 10 to 14 different agencies with significantly more manpower than at the signing of the lease, utilizing the facility, the interval of time between lead abatement needs to be modified to a maximum of 5-year span and possibly every 4 years thereafter should be the rate of agency use. With every year, the agency grow along with the need for additional firearms training. As close as I can figure, lead abatement is projected to be conducted into 2027 at a cost of approximately $35,000, presumably at today's prices. This is a cost that the MRPC will have great difficulty in assuming. I believe it is safe to say that with the volume of police agencies nearly tripling over the span of a few years, that extremely high percentage of lead impacting the burn areas are derived from agency discharge. I would honestly venture to say approximately 85% of the lead in the berms is agency derived. The big question here is, can the town assist the MRPC financially in the next scheduled lead abatement? Perhaps by charging some form of annual or use fee to the outside agencies that utilize the facility. honestly does not seem fair to the members of the MRPC to incur the cost of more vigorous lead abatement program for the lead that the MRPC did not introduce to the burners. I understand, and two, screening privacy. I understand the concern posed at one time regarding trying to maintain both privacy of the shooters and the police officers using the ranges, especially in today's world of anti-gunners looking to dox out every gun owner or LEO identity. And we are currently evaluating different types of screenings. However, would the town be able to assist financially in this regard? Number three, agency reimbursement. Is anything happening regarding any type of financial reimbursement from local agencies to towns, MRPC for use of the range? Just curious, curiosity question here. However, we are a club, do incur expenses regarding the replacement of targets used by both the town and other agencies. Sincerely, Gary Ballinger, President / MRPC. I would say that we're going to defer this letter that came in under correspondence to the finance board and the town council to get their feedback on that. There's an issue here that you. Okay.
Can, point of information, can we, I don't know if Commissioner Giannoni and Commissioner Zelik got a copy of this letter. I know I just,
This just happened.
We just got
okay.
You just go.
If we can make sure they get copies as well, for the record.
Give-
I just stole mine from.
I'll make sure they get
Gal.
it. Very good. Thank you so much. All right, so we're moving on to, well, that's it. We need to go into executive session.
So Chair, I'll make a motion to go in executive session to discuss an employment matter concerning discipline appeal hearing.
Second,
A second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Inviting in the commission, the officers involved, obviously Deputy Chief, Lieutenant Martin, Lieutenant Sola.
Everybody in the room.
Basically everyone in the room and not except for. All right. All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
One moment.
Okay, we've returned to our regular meeting. We've had a discussion with the attorney for Sergeant Gould in a situation that involves needing to do, we've negotiated for a letter of reprimand for his actions taken in order to find a police officer of pending performance evaluation, which was inappropriate. And that is what the letter of reprimand will state. And that's it. Is there anything else we should add to that?
I have a question. Is that for 2 charges?
So, so just for the record, first of all, I'm gonna make a motion that we're gonna modify the chief's discipline to merely be a letter of reprimand placed in Sergeant Gould's file for only violation of policy regarding police business confidential that be sustained, and we will vacate the finding that Sergeant Gould violated the charge of interfering with other officers. So the charge that's sustained is only regarding police business confidentiality. There will only be a letter of reprimand, and this is an agreement between the parties, between the commission and between Sergeant Gould. And maybe we can get Sergeant Gould to state it on the record that he agrees.
I agree.
So that's the motion.
And we need to take a
Second.
Second that motion.
all in favor?
Aye.
Is there anything you would like to say to the commission?
Well, I'd like to go, I think we should go back into executive session to handle that.
Oh, right.
We want to hear from Sergeant Gould. So I make a motion to go back into executive session, inviting in the commission, chief, deputy chief, Attorney Pacone,
Yes,
Sergeant Gould, and
Officer Larry.
Officer O'Leary, and
Lieutenant.
the others, they're lieutenants.
Second.
All in favor?
You with us.
It's a birthday today too.
Happy birthday to you.
You just sent me pictures.
Are they appropriate?
Yeah.
No, I think add something to the agenda, maybe a happy birthday song for our clerk.
Must be hard pressed trying to get out of this meeting.
All right, so you're gonna have Tom come back up and we'll start with you, I think, right?
Oh, I moved to come out of executive session.
Well, we gotta be on the, we gotta be on the record.
Second.
Well, we are.
Well, it was,
We're on the record.
I second that. Come out of it.
well, we're
Did
going
that last
to the
time.
vote. We gotta do that.
John did the first one last time and I did the second one.
She-
All right.
She's moving to come out of executive session now. I second that.
But we flip flopped it.
Yeah, I heard
I don't
it.
think, I think it's, yeah.
I go with whatever you
I think we'll
say.
survive.
I mean, really, there's only two options, first and second things right now.
He's gonna do a quick flock thing, then you can speak and then you're done.
28. He's the baby.
So actually, that's probably a better point of view. We
Mhm.
gotta get a better
28.
camera angle than this.
Yes,
It's just, no, it's like, man, it's almost embarrassing. Let's start wearing a hat in here.
It's like he's in a pool and.
I mean, look at it.
Oh, we gotta vote. Aye.
I,
Not as bad as I do. It works, it looks much worse from the upper view.
Yeah. No. No.
Okay, so now we're on.
We're at,
where we should.
Yeah,
The flock review, flock camera
Okay.
update.
Artists. And solar will be taking.
I
For
put
the,
this- I put both of these together.
yeah, they have that in the packet.
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So, for the flock update this month, going forward, this is what you will see, as part of my monthly report. It'll be an investigations monthly report. This is the monthly audit where I audit, 5 searches every month, to make sure they're being used for the correct, reasons and they're within policy. So you'll see that. And then, this is just some statistics from our first full month using the flock cameras. Filtered out some of the alerts that we're not interested in, like stolen license plates, because to be honest, there's so many of them, we just have to ignore that. But stolen vehicles, during the month, we had 127 alerts for vehicles that were listed as stolen in NCIC. So those vehicles hit one of the cameras within Berlin during the month. There's no way to determine repetitiveness, so that could have been the same stolen vehicle 5 times. So 5 of those could be the same car, so there's no way to know, but just gives you an idea of, the prevalence of stolen vehicles, and we all know that for the most part, people are using stolen vehicles to commit more crimes, so that's going to bring our officers' attention to possible crimes that may be about to happen. 19 hits for warrants. That is a vehicle that's registered to a person that has an active arrest warrant. So that's another item that can be brought to patrol officers' attention, that there's someone driving around our town with active arrest warrants that could be addressed if they have the means and personnel available. And 1 missing person alert, that was from last month. And just to touch on that, actually this month, yesterday, I believe it was, we actually found a missing person, an 88-year-old man that was reported missing the day before in Old Lyme. He was driving his vehicle, was missing from his family. State police had reported him in NCIC as missing the day before. Had no idea where he was driving presumably overnight, aimlessly around the state. And so we found him based on an LPR hit. Our officers and a couple plainclothes guys went to the area, located his car. We brought him back to the police department. His family came and reunited him, and he was safe and sound going home. So just a, great example of what this system, what we envisioned it would do, and it's doing it already. So, and then we had talked about transparency obviously is important with this, this technology. So I've been working with Flock Safety for, they have a transparency portal that we are setting up. And what it is, that's what I handed out to you. It'll tell the public, they can go to this, they can see what we use this technology for. They can see what it does do, what it doesn't do, what the capabilities are. Has how many searches have been done in the last 30 days, how many hot list hits have been done in the last 30 days. And then I still need to attach our policy, so our guideline that includes our policy for the LPRs will have a link in here. And then my plan is sometime this month when it's fully complete. This is kind of a work in progress. There's still a couple changes that they're going to make based on my requests. But we'll do kind of I want to do a success story. I'm probably the missing person we just found using this technology and kind of put it out to the public in a press release along with this new technology that we've brought to the community and where they can, find the transparency portal, which has all the information that they may be looking for, and kind of introduce it that way.
So clearly the concerns of the general public on social media is that this system is not being used for traffic enforcement.
Absolutely not.
It doesn't have the capability.
Any of
Yes,
that.
Nope.
Doesn't do any of that.
Do it.
Nope.
But I don't think the public understands that.
Yep. Yeah, and hopefully, and we'll give some instructions with that, press release that if the public has any questions, we're obviously open to answering them on the system capability and what it can and can't do. Because obviously, there are speed cameras out there now and that's not what these are, but I understand why people would think that that's what they
And
would
that's
do.
what this transparency portal will be all about.
Yep, there'll be a link on our webpage as well. So anyone could go to the link on the webpage and find this portal and, show them everything we have.
We don't even have the ability to do speed cameras. Like, we've
No.
not implemented the ordinance.
We don't have an
plan, we've
ordinance,
not
no.
talked to DOT. We haven't done all the things that Washington, Connecticut did, Middletown, Connecticut
Yep.
did. So we should definitely explain that, like, look, this is not that, this would be a whole other
Mhm.
animal.
Yes.
This is something.
Yep.
Okay, that's pretty much.
That's all I have for the Flock. Yep.
Thank you. Thank you so much for- Facebook Road. Okay, moving on to Spruce Brook Road.
So Officer Bobick is here.
Would you please
Um,
address the commission and I will help you with that.
We received some correspondence from a resident on Spruce Brook Road regarding truck traffic. So in an attempt to investigate that, Commissioner Rogan asked me to kind of look into it and I had already in that general area, not Spruce Brook specifically, but in that general area, I'd looked at a few years ago, truck traffic from our border with Middletown, because in that part of town in East Berlin, where Spruce Brook and Main Street and Division Street all come together, we border Middletown right at probably one of the most industrial areas, not just from the large FedEx facility there, but it's also their industrial park for several other businesses, which generate a lot of truck traffic. And in theory, and I know when the FedEx building was first built, there was a lot of talk about making sure that those trucks don't come on into East Berlin using Middle Street and onto Main Street in East Berlin, but rather go towards the state police headquarters down Country Club Road area and pick up I-91 down there. But of course, the problem that we run into is that not all truck traffic wants to get on 91 to go north or south throughout the state of Connecticut. Some want to go to the western part of the state in Bristol, Plainville area, and 91 is not doing them any favors. So they really have no choice if they want to reach their destination in an efficient manner to come towards us. And so truck traffic does affect us in that part of town in East Berlin. And I took a ride today with the town manager and Ryan Curley, of course, and Commissioner Rogan. We actually drove the area and we went to the FedEx headquarters and saw the other industrial areas that are in that area as well. And we kind of noticed if you come from Middle Street in Middletown and you approach the intersection of Main Street in front of you and Spruce Brook to your left, Division Street to your right, you'll notice that in front of you, there's a clearly marked no through truck sign, as was so designated by the state of Connecticut in 1983. And obviously, the truck trying to access any thoroughfares is not going to find their way down Division Street. It's a dead end. So really, their only option is to go left on Spruce Brook, which is arguably the most dangerous route from there because of how narrow it is, how windy it is, and how close the trees, the telephone poles are to the roadway. We can't solve that problem because the sections of roadway where it's at its worst don't belong to us. The town line does a kind of a crazy thing, and where the road is most dangerous actually belongs to the city of Middletown. I have had discussions with Public Works Director Mike Ahern, and he has reached out to the city of Middletown to try and do roadway improvements, but they seem disinterested in that. It's kind of out of sight, out of mind. They don't have a lot of problems there. They don't have a lot of crashes there, so they're not really interested in spending a lot of money in improving those roadway conditions. So we are left with what seems to be a pretty dangerous route for trucks that happen to come that way. So what occurs to me, the safest route for a truck that happens to find themselves at that intersection would be to go straight down Main Street in East Berlin. It's wide enough to accommodate truck traffic. It's straight. There are sidewalks for the majority of the sides of the roadway there. There is no real legitimate reason that I can see, and I have been in touch with Mike Ahern to make sure there's no bridges there that can't support the load of a heavy truck. And he said, no, they really have no weight concerns there. So there really is no reason why trucks won't be able to go straight down Main Street to access Route 372 and Mill Street, other than the fact that this truck restriction has been in place since 1983. 1983 obviously precedes my time, so I don't know what the roadway conditions were at the time that made them put that restriction into place, but I don't see a reason why that needs to continue.
Could I add to?
Of course.
Well, in the ride along today, I noticed, and what we did was a great idea, is we actually went in the back entrance to the FedEx facility where all the trucks exit. Ironically, when you leave their property and you get down to where you get to the Industrial Park Road, it can go right and it can go left. They have arrows painted on the ground. It's pointing left or right. Ironically, they have a sign that's red sign that says no trucks turning right, even though they have an arrow on the ground. It completely contradicts that. I believe that's on FedEx. So if the trucks left there and took a left, there'd be no harm. They'll follow the Spruce Brook Road. If they did take a right against their own sign that says no trucks turning right, they could go to the end of Industrial Park Road and take a left. And instead of taking a right and going down, we're calling Middletown Road, that turns into Main Street in Berlin, correct?
Middle Street.
Middle Street turns into Main Street. in East Berlin, yes.
So they could take a left there. But if they want to get to 372 to get to the Berlin Turnpike, because they don't want to go on to 91, that would mean that when they get to Spruce Brook, basically you're looking at Main Street being a road that's been widened since it was first instated as a no through truck traffic. It also has a sidewalk, and it's maybe a quarter mile long to get to a light where there's plenty of heavy truck traffic and everything else on 372. So it's almost incumbent to the fact that it would be nice if the state could revisit how they have these roads marked, because common sense would tell us to take and send the rest of this traffic, instead of down Spruce Brook, let it go down Main Street so they get onto 370.
Right, and if the commission decides, I can certainly make that request of the DOT to lift that truck restriction. But it's foreseeable that some neighbors may not be happy with that, so that's a decision that this body's gonna have to make and not me
The
personally.
trick's not there somewhere.
Right.
Someone's gonna
Right.
be disaffected, no matter what.
But there have been improvements to Main Street, and I witnessed that, and there is, so if you're walking on the side of Spruce Brook, it's narrow, those trucks, we went up and down Spruce Brook, went through the S-turns, those tractor trailer trucks are in the middle of the road. Anybody traveling in either direction is gonna be compromised by that oncoming tractor trailer. It's just not wide enough. And now we're looking at a Main Street that's been widened with a sidewalk. It's straight, it's paved nicely. I don't see an issue with the trucks really rolling up and down that section of road to get to 370. So I would encourage us to consider having Officer Bobeck reach out to the state to see if they can revisit this whole situation. So I guess I'm asking for a motion to do that.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So please move forward with reaching out to the state. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your report and thank you for your patience.
If I can interject just one other thing as a point of interest, just to make you aware, tomorrow morning, I expect to take receipt of 2 more radar feedback signs. We have a couple posted, especially on Norton Road in the school zone. We have one on Main Street in East Berlin, speaking of that very area, and another one on Orchard Road. So the state has found money and made sure that every municipality has received 2. And this past year, they have put aside more money. Every municipality, excuse me, will receive 2 more. So we will take possession of 2 more signs tomorrow morning. So
Can I ask
Yes.
a question?
Commissioner Giannotti.
For the next meeting, somebody reached out to me about that East Berlin area where that 5-way intersection, Middletown Road doesn't have a stop sign. But Deming Road, I think what's the Fairgrounds Road, not Deming Road. Beckley and, yeah, and that intersection there, and I guess there've been a
where
couple.
Berlin Convenience Store is that what you mean? Okay.
And there's been a couple instances, that was just one resident that pulled me aside, that she's had a couple instances recently where people don't realize it's not, Middletown is not doesn't have to
We have
stop.
signs up there that say cross traffic does not stop.
Yes.
We put those back up when I was in traffic because we were having crashes. And that should alert them that these traffic coming this way does not stop.
Yeah.
So
It's,
if they look at the sign.
if people read the signs and aren't on their phones. I was wondering if we could look at that intersection and see if that, or maybe
We've
prepare
looked
for
at
the next, if you could bring the next meeting, like.
We've looked at that intersection before, and one of the
Okay.
reasons preventing us from putting a stop sign is that intersection is too close to the signal light. So the
Okay.
traffic would back up into the intersection.
Right. Affecting the state
So-
road, so you know,
Right.
you're gonna need to work with in conjunction with DOT. That whole area is already on the radar of CROG. That whole area is, I
What's
think
CROG?
that.
Capital Region
Council of
Government or
Governments.
something.
Thank you.
Capital
Okay.
Region Council of Governments.
Yep.
So that intersection of Mill Street, where it intersects Middletown Road,
Mhm.
and the next one down where it intersects Savage Hill.
Yes.
Those 2 areas are in the top 5 in the capital region for candidates for roundabouts.
Okay.
And that has been on their radar for a while. I don't know if it's in a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan, or how they plan to address that, but it's a state road, so it's their issue to address, but that area is currently on the radar as a
Okay.
candidate for roundabouts due to the number of crashes, the type of crashes, and whether or not roundabouts can help solve those traffic conflicts. So it would probably be a good idea to address that holistically, including the intersection that's only, 50 yards
Yeah.
away at the intersection of Beckley Road as well. So,
I think that whole area is, the concern about that whole area is well known to
Yeah.
you guys, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've done quite a few studies.
yeah, I replaced the signage there with larger stop signs, bright new reflective stop signs, added the reflective strip to the post to make it more visible. I've got 2 stop sign ahead, things in advance of that to warn
Yeah.
traffic that it's there. We're trying to do really all we can other than drive the car for them, but it continues to be on our radar as well. But
Thank you very much
You are
for
welcome.
answering all those
Thank
questions.
you very much. All right, so that takes care of new business. Chief monthly report. You have anything you'd like to tell us about, Chief? Your report.
Our 2 officers have graduated the academy since this report was
Mhm.
written. And they're in field training, but the other 2, they're in their field training coming up soon.
Wonderful. Who were the officers assigned to their field training officer program?
Well, they
They
rotate through
rotate through,
FTOs.
yeah,
They rotate.
so
through.
I don't know who's
Oh,
up first,
Yeah, I know Clark has one of them right now.
you know.
And the other one is with, Ski, I believe.
See? Yeah, last month, you brought up something about, what we've been doing with the businesses and all, along the lines of Homeland Security and everything, so I wrote some stuff up about that in the report. Let's see, there's a thing called Serve Well, Be Well, it's a office wellness program that's sponsored by Connecticut Police Chief Association, and every year we would be, you know, we're pretty good with our officer wellness, but we're always one item shy of being eligible for an award from that. So one of the things I did was posted for a wellness advocate. And we have officers that do peer support and all already, but somebody that could really take the ball and run with this. And Officer Casey Skinner applied and was selected. She went to the training session on October 9th. And so I think she's already taken the ball and running with it on some other projects with that. Let's see what else we got going here. It's Pink Patch Month. As you can see, I have my pink patches on my uniform, and we sell those patches. Megan Musante's got a stack of them, and the money is being donated to After the Storm Incorporated, which is a foundation to assist cancer survivors and, you know, physically. Let's see, and then this weekend, over the weekend, I'm going to Denver. And what started off as, hey, by the way, could we have you meet up with some law enforcement leaders from the country of Brazil through Department of State? I have a connection in the Department of State, of course, with my daughter. And she just got to Brazil and said, hey, are you going to IACP, which will go to every year? I said, yes. She says, I've got a couple people want to meet with some real cops, not just the State Department, 3-letter agency guys. Well, then the government shut down. So what started off being about anywhere from 5 to 7 people is now up to 94. And the commissioner of the Department of Emergency desk, whatever it is, public protection, our acronym heavy state. Commissioner Higgins has met with me. We've been talking. I have some other chiefs from Connecticut and a committee, and we have become the de facto ambassadors to this Brazilian delegation. We're trying to they were supposed to go to Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. told them that they couldn't accommodate them. They're going to meet us in Denver, and we're the ambassadors.
Congratulations.
And I got a couple chiefs from New York State now jumping in on it. Lieutenant Martin's getting conscripted to go to this. He's teaching out there. And so they wanted to find out what we do, like American policing. And then we're going to find out what they're doing and create this relationship between Brazil and the United States. I started learning a little Portuguese. Brazilian Portuguese is different than regular Portuguese.
Very.
Chief Morello from Bristol's jumped on it. Chief Petruzzi from Vernon, the commissioner, me. Trying to think who else. I'm sure the colonel, I'm sure, is going to be on it, because if the commission is going to be there, I'm sure the colonel's going to be there. But interesting that this became a big deal when the government shut down. So, and we're doing it with no money, which is interesting because the Department of State was supposed to have funds and all and have a reception and everything. So I think that's going to be a big feather in the cap for the state of Connecticut, and a big one for us too. And we could use some relationships internationally.
Agreed. When's the date? When's this take place?
Right now, it looks like the night of the 17th, I'm going to meet up with a major and a colonel that I've been talking to through one of our secure apps. And then we're looking at we have this big dinner thing at this place called the Stockyard, which can accommodate hundreds of, because thousands of chiefs of police are at this. And it looks like we're gonna be doing a meet and greet earlier in the evening with the group that's coming from Brasilia and Sao Paulo. The group that I'm meeting with on Friday night is from Porto Alegre. That's like the core, they're the top of their law enforcement. And then they have a military law enforcement and civil law enforcement. Like where we have municipal, state, federal, they only have two. So I've learned a lot in the past couple of weeks getting roped into this. And so I think that's gonna be a big deal. Last weekend, Berlin Fairgrounds Lions Club hosted the Cadet Tactical Challenge. They changed up the challenge. I wasn't there because I was out. Our kids took first place in a high-risk warrant search event. But from what I understand from the other 18, 19 head program advisors who all reaching out to me over the weekend, it was the hardest competition that they've ever had. They changed everything up from the years in the past. So our Berlin kids did very well, but they didn't come out first, second, and third overall, but they did get a first place finish, which there was only 10 areas to compete in. So that was a big thing. And I gotta tell you, our officers helped them out, but with all the babies being born, I had given them a list of training that we were gonna do, and then I got injured. And then just staffing with our, needs for patrol and all. I think our cadets did a phenomenal job. The officers that work with them did a phenomenal job. I know we lost Devin O'Leary to the state police. He was a cadet here. But he came out, he's at the State Police Academy. He showed up on Saturday early in the morning, mentored the group with our advisor that was there, and then sent me pictures. And interestingly enough, the state commissioner showed up at the competition to see what it was all about and all. So it just seems like the past month, the commissioner's been very active looking at the center of the state and looking at our department as a slave, we get a lot of people looking at what we're doing here, so.
No doubt.
That's not a bad thing.
Thank you, chief.
All right, moving
Can I-
on.
Quick question, one unfilled opening for the it's a sergeant lieutenant, one unfilled opening.
There's two potential candidates and backgrounds right now.
We have two in the background.
Okay,
They're officer, entry level.
and, okay.
All good?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Review report patrol operations division with Lieutenant Martin. Is there anything you'd like to comment on?
The only thing that we had that was really significant in the report was that September 10th call, where it came into us as a male dressed in black running through a yard.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
And then car crashed in the backyard. It turned out that vehicle had been stolen from downstate somewhere, shoreline town, and had been in a pursuit with that agency, and then in a pursuit with the state police. The male that fled the car was seen with a firearm, another car involved, carjacked his gun from. So it was quite a big production. We have state police helicopters overhead and
Were they helpful out of curiosity?
State police?
Yeah.
Is the helicopter?
Yeah, they brought their helicopter. They had a bunch of troopers there too.
troopers with dogs, helicopters.
They wanted that guy.
Yeah, we had the fire department out in Silver Lake with bow. We had the fire department out.
Or did they find them under the
With
dock or something like that?
No, we never found him.
No,
I think,
yeah.
I think he got past our perimeter before we could get it set up. We're limited with manpower, by the time.
Well, and he came in, it was an innocuous call for us. It didn't come in as a male with a gun fleeing a car. It came in as just a guy in
Creeper.
dark clothes in a backyard, and then kind of morphed from there. We didn't know until 15 minutes in that, you know, this was a stolen car that had been chased by the state police. I think it was Branford.
North
Branford,
Branford.
yeah.
They actually came up and took the car for evidence.
Boy, yeah, a lot of agencies involved.
Yeah, so there were a lot of things.
Kind of looks like, he was, search was terminated. Don't know whether it's-
We didn't find. We spent 3 hours out there. I probably had at least 30 officers between our agency and state. Meriden sent 4 or 5 cars.
So I just, in summarizing, going through the back of the report margin, summary by customer. We get to the grand total and of 83,293.11. And obviously a big part of that is the Berlin Fair, correct?
Correct.
And I believe we get reimbursed to what point?
The Berlin Fair interior, now these numbers, these are not as accurate as the numbers that you get from Deputy Chief, because he gets his numbers directly from finance. But this gives you
An idea.
a pretty good idea. Berlin Fair interior, it's listed as, it's 31,456. That should be reimbursed to the town from the Lions. They pay that portion of the police costs.
Okay, and that comes, that 31,458.41 comes off of the 83,293.11.
Correct. So it's not as bad as it
Right.
seems when you back that number out. For full transparency, I gave you all of the numbers.
And looking at our budget through actual, I mean, we're already done with the first quarter. Yeah, and
Right,
we've only blown through
Sure.
75 or 73% of our budget. We're a little
behind.
a
Behind.
little
We
bit.
have 2 sergeants out, which, you know,
Mhm.
Two sergeants out, that's something we gotta talk about. Executive. We're taking a little bit of a beating with the sergeants overtime.
All right,
But it looks like we're,
sounds good. Let's move on to the investigation division, Lieutenant Solik, who happens to be here. Is there anything you'd like to comment on? Lieutenant Solik?
Nothing too big in this report, just comment on the stolen vehicle. On the 11th from Savage Hill that short time later at Hartford. Stay flat, so that is a waiting processing there. We're successful with something. Mentioned that same manhunt that we were involved in September 10th. As well, there was also physical evidence recovered. Detective recovered canine track during that, so that evidence was turned over to Brandon for analysis. We were successful in that. Other than that, detectives have been catching up on as in cases because we with that.
I just curiosity question would be, if somebody has their car stolen and basically they don't destroy it and wreck it and crash it, and the owner of the car gets, does that get their car back in a reasonable amount of time, or do they have to wait?
Many times when we respond to a scene that we don't have to actually impound the car, we can process sometimes for physical evidence on scene and then release it directly back to the owner. It depends on what type of processing is needed. So many times we'll try to do that if possible, which is what we did in that case.
So within 24 hours, they could have the car.
Yeah, we processed the vehicle, gathered physical evidence, and then released the car because it wasn't something that we were keeping because the car wasn't used in another crime.
Correct.
So
The court actually changed that several years ago. We used to seize cars, even with stolen car arrests, we take the car as evidence. And now the court has changed the procedure where we can just take photos of the stolen vehicle, and we take photos of the plate, the car,
Right.
the VIN plate, and we can then turn it right back to the owner so that they're not re-victimized by the court system.
Exactly.
A lot of times we call them and say, hey, we got your car here, can you come get it?
Oh, wonderful.
And they don't have to pay
If
for
it's
it.
drivable, the ignition's
If it's
intact.
drivable.
Right,
Yeah.
Court Services Lieutenant Joe.
standard, so.
Mhm.
Ask if there's any questions, but,
Only 2 arrests at the bonfire.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, we have some fairs, we don't arrest anybody. We had a fight this year with the arrest. I think it was actually 3 people we were.
On Saturday night.
They were all juvenile.
The 19-year-old.
No.
And I think maybe 2 of them were, and one was an adult, or maybe
Mm-hmm.
2 adults and 1 juvenile, something like that. It was in the
I didn't say, I
juvenile-
saw a juvenile and a 19-year-old.
just for the
Barely
record, I would like to, when you look at it's the second to last page, it says private.
One was
duty
12 years
waivers,
old.
Correct?
Two,
That was the victim.
2 19th and 1 12.
Yeah, the fourth one down.
The 12-year-old wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My concern is that, that the finance board and the town council understands exactly how much we're waiting. And that's why. So I'm just looking for public record.
They already approved the waiver and we give them an estimate of what we think it is, which is usually around 38,000, somewhere in that area. So we were pretty close to what we.
Well, when you add all these up, Instep, St. Paul, Willard, Berlin, Griswold, Powerhouse, Power Pop, Berlin. Theater Guy, Jim Day Memorial, Glow Dance, Willard Festival, Lions Beer, Mr. BHS, Berlin Little League, Berlin Fire and Car Show. Team Red Dragon, Berlin Fair again. Repeats itself, or it's 20 in other words, it came up to about $124,472.
We have a lot more for this coming month.
Yeah,
And
So-
I'm just saying.
We just did
so
waivers
that-
for like probably $9,000-10,000 that we're waiving in the next police commission.
Out of our $650,000.
The town council,
Town-
town council.
Town council approves out of the police commission budget,
Well, they approve it out of the budget. It
Yeah.
comes out of
our
the
budget.
private duty fund, I think.
Alright, moving on, Support Services Division, Lieutenant Joe.
That's what we did.
Okay. Operations report, that was you.
So one thing I'd like to mention is that I've had some conversations with Chief Simons. And we are getting a little beat up with cars. We have 2 canine cars that are both in the shop constantly now. And we don't have a spare, so it's been pretty difficult to get them out in the car.
What's happening with the canine cars?
They're old,
just old.
How old
they're
are
old.
6 years old.
Like 6, yeah, somewhere in that area. They're old. I mean, we can use those a lot longer because only one person drives it. You know, they can't drive them off duty. They take it home, park it in their driveway, and then it's available for call out, and then they drive it back. They can only use it when they're working. But they're older cars, and so normally that goes into the capital budget, and they weren't due for next budget. They were due for the next budget after. And I talked to Jim Simons, and we're like, we can't wait. Those cars we're sending somebody out of state for a class, and we're gonna have to give him a different car because we're afraid his car's not gonna make it there and back. So. So we may need your help this year when it comes to cars, because Jim Simons is gonna put us in for 5 cars.
Mhm.
We need 2 are just for the canine cars. And then we need 3 cars. We are way behind on replacing patrol cars. So, I mean, that's one of those things,
Your heads up is appropriate for the commission.
right? Well, probably what's gonna happen, and the same thing happened last year, is we're gonna show up in a budget hearing or something like.
Mhm.
Remember they had us do the special meeting
We did
last
2 of them
time?
last year.
Yeah, that
So
was-
probably we'll be in for something like that, but we gotta lobby hard for those cars. I know they're not gonna wanna see a bill for 5 cars, but we gotta replace these cars. We're falling behind.
Very good. All right, moving on to, again, Commissioner Yarnaga addressed it. It looks like our overtime is still healthy at 73.6 remaining, is that correct? Okay, and then Freedom of Information Log, any questions there? It's obvious, very active.
Our FOI position
You started
started today.
today.
She started today.
Yeah.
Well, now working. It'll take a little time to get up to speed.
It's all good. All right, that's the end of our regular segment.
I did have,
Do you have anything else you'd like to add, Chief?
yeah, actually. Would like to have this in the,
Do you have more correspondence?
well, yeah, this is a letter I got from Rocky Hills Chief. Appreciation for assistance in MSARS mutual aid. I'd like to extend my gratitude to you and your department for the assistance provided following the recent motor vehicle accident involving one of our officers. In particular, I'd like to recognize Officer Thomas Bobach, Sergeant Brett Kelly, and Lieutenant Robert Martin for their coordination and professionalism. Their cooperation was greatly appreciated and helped our agency manage a difficult situation. Please extend my thanks to them on behalf of our department. If there is anything we can do to support your agency, please do not hesitate to reach out. We are always happy to return the favor. Respectfully, Brian Klett, Chief of Police of Rocky Hill, and I already called the marker in on him anyways, because I needed the favor. So, we get along pretty well with them. What day was this? October 4th, I'm looking at the top, I saw 9/11, I said, I know it wasn't that. October 4th, the mayor did a First Responders Day proclamation, and I think it's important to thank the, two, groups that are the same. Rotary, there's Kensington Rotary, and then there's the
Kensington,
Berlin
Berlin.
Rotary. They put out the annual breakfast and all, and they do a great job at that every year.
Mhm.
So I think that's important that they get a shout out too.
Mhm.
Wonderful. Does that conclude everything we have to do in the regular session?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to be re-entering into an executive session.
So I make a motion to go into executive session, inviting in the chief, deputy chief, lieutenants, and that's it, to discuss, internal investigations.
A second.
All in favor?
Yeah, I know. That's.
And when I question her and stuff, she's like, we never did it this way before. So every time I feel like we're inventing the wheel. Okay.
I move to exit or to leave executive session.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
I move to adjourn.
I second.
Favor?
Aye.
The time is 9:23. Thank you, everyone.